shirt on.
Go.
Good morning, everybody. Dustin with the Van Store. Going to do a small semi-apples to apples comparison between the Gravely ProTurn 160, the Toro Z-Master. I think this is the 3000. Yeah. Now this is an older Z-Master and this is a new Gravely. So I know the new Z-Masters have changed a little bit, but for the most part, they're the same. So as far as engines go, the new Z-Master I know has got a 25.5 horsepower Kawasaki. The 160 Gravely will have a 23.5 horse Kawasaki. So the Toro is going to have a little bit bigger engine, but it needs a little bit bigger engine for what we're getting ready to talk about. The transmission in the mower is not near as strong as the transmission in the Gravely. Both 14cc pumps, but the Gravely's got 16cc motors. The Toro has got significantly smaller motors. Also, the Toro has a 9-gallon gas tank, I believe. The Gravely has a 10-gallon gas tank, or 2 tanks, one on each side. So the advantage, you can go in one direction as far as you want to. You run out of gas, switch tanks, get you back home instead of walking, trying to grab a gas tank. Also on the Gravely, the battery's in the center of the mower. Again, lowering the center of gravity, making the mower a little bit better for hillside stability. The Toro's is over on the side. Easy to back into something. Yes, it's covered here. Easy to back into something. Hit that's more exposed to the elements, so it's not going to last as long. Lots of plastic all over the Toros and everything. The Gravely, of course, has got a plastic tank, but everything else is metal. Both of them have the 7-gauge deck. Both of them, easy to get this off. Plastic, I'm not a fan of plastic stuff because it doesn't seem to last, okay? Gravely, metal, you can step on it, but you can also unscrew this and lift it off. Again, same thickness deck. The size of the casters, the caster yokes on the front is massive on the Gravely versus the Toro, okay? Both of the new mowers are going to have sealed ball bearings, sealed spindles, and stuff like that, so that's insignificant. The new Toro is going to have the same seat as this Gravely. I'll show you in just a second. The other big thing why the Gravely is a much better mower than the Toro, and when I say Toro, a lot of the stuff that I'm going over right now is almost identical to the Exmark. So tomato, Laser Z series. The wiring in the Gravely is the sealed wiring. You can see where it's the hard sealed wiring. All their connections are sealed and waterproof, versus all the Toro and Exmark, it's all plastic loom. You can get to all the wires. Everything's exposed. This customer probably just zip tied the stuff. But you can see the fuses. They're all out and open. You know, there's nothing important about that. Also, because this is not a gas tank, this is completely hollow. I can reach in here and grab any of these controls and unplug them as I want to. The Gravely, because it is a gas tank, also is completely sealed. No grass as you're spinning the tires, going across wet grass, throwing moisture, throwing wet grass, throwing stuff up into this compartment, causing this stuff to prematurely wear and short out. The pump and wheel motor setup in these versus the Hydrogear integrated transmission in these, we don't see one lasting any longer than the other. I mean, it's you know, somebody loves one, somebody loves the other. It makes no difference. The other thing, motor turns sideways on here. We have found from being in business since the 1960s that the engines that are turned sideways do not seem to last as long as this. Common sense usually prevails, and it seems like it's lost anymore. But you have the pumps, you have the engine, you have all this stuff blowing hot air on each other. It's an air-cooled engine. It's going to run hot. Versus an engine that is not turned sideways, it allows more air to disperse. There's not as much of this engine up here around the transmission as there is with the ones that had the motors turned sideways. The Toro, the Bobcat, the Exmark, and any of the rest of them that want to do that. It does not make a lot of sense other than making the mower a little bit shorter. Seats, I know the new Toro has the exact same seat. So it's a suspension seat, it's not an air ride seat. The deck height setup is very easy and it's very user friendly. For shorter people, the seat goes way forward, but for shorter people, you can actually loosen this peg and make it closer to the customer, especially if women are raising and lowering the deck. It allows them to reach it. The springs are larger on this than they are on a Toro, so it makes the deck height extremely easy to raise and lower, especially being a heavy 7-gauge deck. It's assisted a lot. This raises up, you can get to everything. This is the new constant belt tensioning system. So as this belt stretches and wears, it's Kevlar belts by the way, but as they stretch and wear, that pulley tightens up, keeps the belt tight for allowing for different cuts. You do not have to be in any specific grass for the Gravely to cut well with the new X Factor deck. It has adjustable baffles that are removable. I know the Toro, the new Toros, some of the models you can adjust from the top of the deck. So kind of a wash as far as that goes. But anyway, that's a quick rundown. Also with these handlebars, depending on tall people or large people, some people don't quite have the room. With the Gravely, it's easy. You have a safety switch sitting here. So if you're on a hill with the parking brake, you can actually pull these handlebars in, turn the parking brake off, and have your hand ready here so you're not doing anything crazy. Versus the other ones, if you pull that in with the parking brake on, they are going to die. Anyway, just a quick rundown of the Gravely versus one of the other competitors. We'll do more apples to apples comparisons on other brands as we go throughout the season, as other customers bring equipment in. Another thing that you can notice on these is the welds, where everything is not welded completely around on the Toro, just a little quality thing. The parking brakes are enormously hard on these, so you get it finally down and easy to go up, but hard to put down. Deck height, easy to go up and down. It's just pretty easy. The pin setup on the side, it's a little bit easier to drop a pin vertically. You know, gravity helps. Other than that, just some stuff, but that's the big pet peeve with a lot of people, is do not like this hard parking brake. The Gravely parking brake, on, off, super duper easy to deal with. So apples to apples comparison, the Toro new Toro 3000 series is going to be as close as they've got to a ProTurn 160 in a Gravely. So Dustin with the Vance Store. Check in soon. We'll have more comparisons. Thank you.